You know a movie is good when you end up looking into elements of the backstory and the fan fiction created for it online, even though you know that what you're watching is science fiction, didn't really happen, and probably wouldn't ever really happen. The Edge of Tomorrow, which is based on a Japanese manga called All You Need Is Kill, is about, if you've watched the film, it's currently on demand, so you could probably see it if you have HBO Go or Fios or whatever. But anyway, The Edge of Tomorrow is about Tom Cruise, who plays as William Cage, and he ends up fighting an alien race, and he ends up getting killed, and finds out that he has absorbed the power to reset time, which is the way the aliens fight. Basically, these aliens called mimics have the ability to reset time by about a day or whatnot. It's never really explained if it's only 24 hours or more, but they have the ability to reset time so that every single time they get defeated, they learn to fight more efficiently and eventually overwhelm whoever they're invading with more efficient fighting, and they eventually are going to win. So even if it takes them 200 defeats, they'll still win eventually. And basically, anytime you have a movie about time travel, it always ends up being like a paradox. And the paradox is, there's numerous ones and there's numerous unanswered questions, because granted, this is science fiction and it's not perfect, but it's actually kind of fun when you think about it. And my only thing about this film, and I don't know if anybody else has thought the same thing, my only thing is that, first of all, you have to wonder, the mimics don't look like they're a spacefaring race. They look like, you know, a bunch of squid aliens or tentacle aliens or whatever. They don't look like they're a spacefaring race. So the question then becomes, well, how exactly are they moving from planet to planet? In the movie Independence Day, they show that you have an entire alien race that's moving from planet to planet, taking over the resource of whatever planet they find that's worth it, and just moving on. So that's all. That's one reason I really like Independence Day. Most people hated the acting and this, that, and other. I loved it. I thought the movie was excellent. I went to see it twice when it opened up. But anyway, my problem with the mimics is that their entire game plan hinges on what happened in the movie not happening, which means that they were guaranteed a loss from the second they landed on the planet. Cage, or Tom Cruise, I should say, his character absorbs the blood from an alien mimic. If you have aliens that are so important to you that if getting them killed causes you to lose and have to reset the day, then those should be your last line of defense. You should hold those back, you know, so that this way, when the enemy exhausts their resources trying to fight through your front lines, the last alien that they kill is going to cause you to reset the day. That the alien alphas, they shouldn't be on the front lines of the battlefield. They should be a little bit further away from the front lines. Or if you really think about it, what the Omega should have done was the Omega should have sent all the simple creatures out, had them fight the humans to a loss. Once they lost, then you send out your alpha, and your alpha's entire goal is to get killed. This way, you're able to reset time, and you're able to plan your battle strategy better. But see, the thing that doesn't make sense is if you're constantly resetting time because you keep losing, then that means that you really couldn't win in the first place. If you think about it, Tom Cruise's character gets the power to reset time. But he got that power after somebody else had got the power the exact same way. So that means that Rita Vitaski, whenever she fought, she ended up killing an alpha. So the same exact thing happened to her. Now, it's explained that she lost her power because she got a blood transfusion. But my thing is, if this has happened twice, then there's a good possibility it could keep on happening given enough time. So we don't know exactly how many times the mimics have fought and lost, but it's possible they could have lost thousands of times. Only their entire invasion comes crumbling to defeat when Tom Cruise's character figures out how to destroy the Omega. Now, that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. But you know what? There's moviemistakes.com, and there's a lot of fan fiction that looks into all of the plot holes and the plot points and whatnot. But my thing about it is, yeah, it was a really good movie, but it kind of sucks when you have such a massive plot hole. You know, because the thing about it is, if you lose even one time, you never can win again. You know, in physics, there's something called the law of causality, which says that if something happens, it couldn't have happened any other way. If something falls and it breaks, there's no way that it couldn't have fallen and broken, because it did fall and break. So if something happens, it couldn't have not happened because it did happen. That's the reason why I don't believe in time travel. So, you know, all these people who want to say, oh yeah, well, time travel is possible. Well, yeah, I believe it's possible to dilate time, but do I believe that it's possible for humans to control time or to gather enough energy to go backwards in time? If it was possible, it probably would be a natural phenomenon, because I really don't think humans would ever have enough energy to open, you know, a hole in space-time or fold time back on itself. I really doubt we'd ever have that power. But you really think about it, if it was possible to have time travel, then somebody could right now come back from the future and be walking right among us right now, and you wouldn't even know it, because they'd know exactly how to evade all your senses. They'd have like cloaking devices, kind of like, you know, Star Trek 4, the voyage home. But in any event, I just wanted to make that as a video. I haven't written about a movie, or I haven't talked about a movie since, what was it called? The first Star Trek by J.J. Abrams. And as you know, Leonard Nimoy just died, so that's, you know, that's sad and everything. So hopefully they'll have like a Spock, like a lineup of great Spock episodes somewhere online, hopefully. But I just had to say that because that was on my mind, and I wanted to make a little blog about it. So, you know, tell me what you think. Whoever saw the movie, hopefully you saw the movie. I thought it was really good. And I thought it was really well done. The effects were really good. The movements in the suits really didn't look realistic, but I was able to look past that. So, you know, tell me what you think what about the movie. And by the way, I was actually watching this film right now. And this brings about my entire point. At this point in the film, near the end of the film, Tom Cruise and Rita Vitasky, or I should call them Cage and Rita Vitasky, they get to the Omega, and there's an alien Alpha, the blue one, and he's walking around patrolling the Omega's area, right? Now, understand something. If killing an Alpha and getting its blood on you allows you to have the power to reset the day, then why the hell would you keep an Alpha right next to your central processing unit? That doesn't make sense. Because you think about it. If that alien Alpha is there, then that means that it's there because all of your other defenses got beaten. So if all of your other defenses got beaten, then that must mean that the humans came up with a way to get all the way to you. The final boss, you could call it. You know, they always call it the final boss in a video game. But if the humans figured out a way to defeat all of your defenses and get all the way to you, and your alien Alpha is the last line of defense, and it's just sitting there waiting for anybody to come in, and that would mean that your technology was so powerful that you were able to beat the hell out of them and then go and kill the alien Alpha. Now, if you kill the alien Alpha, which obviously is so aggressive that it attacks just about anything, the chances of its blood getting on you increase exponentially. So that means that this, just like right now, this thing keeps attacking you, and the problem is because they don't shoot weapons, if they attack you and you kill them at close quarters, you're going to get its blood on you. And if you get its blood on you, then now you got the ability to reset the day. And you just took away the Omega's ability to reset the day, which is why they were chasing Tom Cruise in the first place. They tried to set up a trap for him in order to take back the power which he took from them. But you know, it's stupid thinking. But then again, you know, it's an alien species, and it's, you know, it's science fiction writing. But I love it when they make movies like that have massive plot holes and massive ridiculousness. But yeah, like right now, if Rita blew herself up just like Tom Cruise did with the Claymore, right now its blood would be all over her. In fact, if your final move was to shoot this son of a bitch in the face, his blood is gonna spray all over you, and the same shit's gonna happen to Tom Cruise in the very beginning. And that's the reason why it doesn't make any sense. But you know, I'm not ranting. I'm just saying I just thought it was really, really cool. But you know, it's a massive plot hole. It's backwards thinking. So you know, if you haven't seen the film, you should really watch it, because I thought it was definitely worth watching. It's one of those films that when it comes on, I can watch it whenever it comes on. And then one thing, and this is probably going to be the biggest plot hole. If Tom Cruise blows up the Omega, right? And he kills the Omega and all the aliens die and this, that, and other. And then the alien's blood touches Tom Cruise and he absorbs it and gains back his ability to reset the day. But he's, you know, he's floating and dying, right? If he resets the day, then he's going to go back to the beginning of the day where the mimics have not been beaten. And that's the reason why it doesn't make sense. Because even though it is a time loop, it's kind of like in Back to the Future 2 where Dr. Brown draws a line and says, listen, if you're at this point right here and you reset to this point right here, what's going to happen is it's going to be as if you're reliving that day right there. So that means that Tom Cruise right now, he would have to go right back to the beginning of this day now that he has the power to reset the day. But he goes back to the beginning of this day. And if he goes back to the beginning of this day, then the mimics haven't been beaten. That's why it doesn't make sense. Because at the beginning of this day, he's flying to meet the general or whatever, and the mimics are still alive. And that's why it doesn't make any sense. In order for you to realistically beat the mimics, what would have to happen is you would have to kill the Omega and not touch its blood. If you kill the Omega and not touch its blood, then that would make it so that all of the other mimics would die, the alphas and the betas and whatnot, and there'd be nobody with the power to control time to turn back the day. The Omega would be dead, the alphas would die because of the Omega being dead, and because nobody touched its blood, your day would not reset. But if your day reset after touching the Omega's blood, then you'd reset the day to the beginning of the day before you went out and fought the Omegas. That's why it doesn't make any sense. And last thing. Why would Tom Cruise have to go meet Rita Vataski in the training room? Why is she in the training room if the mimics have been beaten and there's nobody left to fight? She should be out celebrating. Doesn't make any sense.